Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Dabo Swinney, the Clemson Tigers might have just found a diamond in the rough in the 2025 cycle as four-star linebacker Logan Anderson committing to this Clemson program. The reason I use the term diamond in the rough, this was a kid that I wasn't too familiar with before he committed to Clemson, but I think more importantly, kind of flew under the radar. From a lot of Power 4 programs, you dive into Logan Anderson, you look at the physical traits along with the film, there is a ton to love about what Logan Anderson brings to Clemson. From the last hour and a half of spending some time watching some film, reading about this kid, just seems like a fit within this Clemson program. But I think more importantly, this kid is a premier athlete at 6'2", 220, runs a 4.5 in the 40-yard dash. That is a laser time, verified 4.5. This kid absolutely cooks, and it shows up on the film. And we talk about having these rangy, athletic linebackers in this modern era of college football. It is so important. Logan Anderson, I think, could be that kind of guy for this Clemson program. Fired up to get into the film, talk a little bit about Logan Anderson. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the Clemson fans who've been rocking with the fellas all summer long as we talk the recruiting trail. I can't thank you guys enough. It's something I love to do. The amount of support from the Clemson fans has been amazing. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into Logan Anderson. Let's talk about what he did as a junior, where that kind of reminds you of a little bit of Sammy Brown playing both ways as a junior. Set a school record with over 2,800 rushing yards and 45 touchdowns as a junior. Also plays on the defensive side of the football, which is kind of where we expect him to play for Clemson. I think what's so fascinating about Logan Anderson as a defender, this kid plays everywhere at the high school level. You'll see him come off the edge as an edge rusher. You'll see him play that traditional off-ball linebacker role. Heck, you even see him play some free safety. And you see the speed and the ability to cover a lot of ground, show up as a safety on the film. But I think most importantly, this kid plays fast. I mean, not only because he's a very fast athlete, but he plays with his hair on fire, has an elite motor. At least from kind of diving in, reading a little bit about Logan Anderson and then watching the film, this just seems to be a kid that you want to bet on and bring into your program. Whether it's year 1, year 2, year 3, you kind of figure that he's going to figure it out and be a guy that has a lot of success within this Clemson program. And I think Clemson fans know more than anybody else. Dabo Swinney has kind of a special sauce when it comes to evaluating some of these under-the-radar prospects and then turning them into all-conference caliber players. Logan Anderson certainly could be that guy for Clemson. You turn on the film, and again, I think what's so exciting is we're going to take a look at the defensive reps first, because the running back film is a blast to watch. He is a phenomenal running back at the high school level, but we kind of expect him to play the defensive side of the football. You fire up the film, again, plays everywhere, kind of playing that single high free safety role where he is just commanding the middle of the field. And he is not afraid to trigger downhill, be extremely physical. I believe he gets called for targeting here, probably a fair call, but you kind of see how this kid flies around and is so physical at the point of attack, whether it's playing safety, whether it's being an off-ball kind of an on-ball edge rusher. You look at the ability to kind of stand him up, walk him into the box. Tackles just cannot deal with the juice that Logan Anderson has. Then you see the closing speed. You see the 4.5 40 and you show up clearly on the film. This kid plays with an unreal motor, kind of scraping on the inside, crossing. I think we're working on a tight end here, crossing the tight end's face, shooting the gap, getting behind the line of scrimmage, and then just disrupting a play. This kid's motor, his play speed is kind of on another level. Kind of reminds you just like an apex predator on the field, that you can move all around the defense and just let him go find the football and go to work. Really, really good in the run game, whether it's working through contact, whether it is kind of shooting gaps. This guy, I mean, you talk about sideline to sideline speed, them being physical at the point of attack. I mean, that's Logan Anderson. I think this is a fascinating prospect for Clemson. Love what he can do in coverage. But again, off-ball stuff, this is a guy that you can do so much with. I think there's a ton of juice for him as a pass rusher. I mean, putting this tackle right on his back, continuing to work the quarterback. I think there's a lot to like about what Logan Anderson brings to the table. Always seems to find the football. And You look at Clemson in this 2025 class, not necessarily getting talked about by the national media, putting together quite a class. And I want to start with what they're doing in the front seven. Obviously, we talk about Logan Anderson, but what's the linebacker's best friend? Playing behind a defensive line that's elite. You look at Amari Adams, Isaiah Campbell, Ari Watford, Bryce Davis, all top 70 national prospects committed to Clemson on the defensive line. And it's no secret what Clemson's recipe has been over the last decade of Dabo Swinney. It is to overwhelm you on the defensive line in that front seven. You have one of the best defensive line classes in the country. You pair a guy like Logan Anderson, who's going to be playing behind this defensive line. I love how this front seven is coming together. A really, really big fan of some of the guys in the secondary they have committed, like Grayson Littleton and Tay Harris. You start scrolling down this list and say, hey, we're checking a lot of boxes here. Logan Anderson, the first linebacker commit in this 2025 cycle. There are only 15 commitments in. We are going to see some more commitments for Clemson over the next couple of weeks. Dylan Alfred visiting Clemson this weekend. I think we could get a commitment from him over the next couple of days. We'll keep you guys updated. Wanted to hop on, talk about, again, what I think is a diamond in the rough for this Clemson program. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.